Spectrovision Radio.
Welcome to Gods, Ghosts, and UFOs, everybody. This is the biggest podcast in the universe where we talk about all the things they said weren't real. And I'm Mallory Everton, and I'm here with my friends Jordan and Tom. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Mal.
Today we're doing a sequel episode of sorts. Tom's going to revisit the Fresno Nightcrawler and then take us into some thylacine territory. And then I'm going to do a follow-up on our anonymous YouTuber who claims to have a UFO in his possession. And finally, Jordan will come in hot with a take on Three Eye Atlas. But before we do that, a couple of reminders for you, dear listeners. Rating and reviewing this podcast is extremely helpful for us. We're not fame hungry. That's really not what this is about. We're not egomaniacs.
Yeah.
We're trying to build a community
thirst for
here.
Acknowledgement.
Yeah. Jordan is a bottomless well of need.
I cannot be satisfied.
So Jordan wants to be famous, but Tom and I really just want community.
we want to
We need
eat.
it to be shared and reviewed so that we can have a community of people who can rely on each other as the world continues to break apart into tiny pieces.
And to reassemble itself in horizontal organizations and communities. And the way to get to that is feeding the algorithmic beast. So I'm serious.
Yeah.
Engagement.
It's true.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Do a review. Many of you have. They're lovely. Lovely. And it's so nice. And I know it's a call to action, blah, blah, blah. But like that just... that helps us proliferate. That puts us in front of ears that will listen.
And we'll even give you some ideas here and there about what to comment.
The other thing too is to know that our paid subscribers over on Substack get access to what we're now calling an epilogue. Jordan, do you want to talk a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, basically, you know how some of the best stuff comes after you turn the mics off, like when you're like, all right, we're all done, and then if you just stick around, like some of the best stuff comes out. So basically, we just keep recording after we're done with the sort of the material that we prepared. We just kind of leave the mics on and just hang out for a bit. And it's really nice because we know we put it behind a paywall so that we don't have to be careful. Like we can say whatever we want. We can kind of like be sort of just like let the hair down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the epilogues are where I can say, but you can hear it.
Yeah.
Jordan, are you
Exactly.
going to bleep that?
Yeah, I
course
bleep
he's
I
gonna
bleep
bleep.
every single one.
No, it's already bleeped. Yeah.
just raising my workload.
Makes
Thanks,
him
Tom.
run rabbits. You're welcome. I don't give a shit.
Please stop. Every swear word Tom drops costs me like at least 30
I
seconds.
have to put
work.
$1 in the tip jar.
Tom, do you want to take us away?
I do, and we're going to do something unusual because, as our listeners know, we're kind of newsy-based-ish, sort of, in which we kind of do stories that are recent or have recently appeared in the zeitgeist, and sometimes we don't. Last week, when we were hanging out with the great Rich Haddam, I did a piece on the Fresno Nightcrawlers, which was a phenomena that started in 2007, and I need to revisit that segment for a number of reasons. Long story short, I had zero time to prep for that segment, and the Fresno Nightcrawlers is a topic worthy of clarification, if not a deeper dive. I'll do the clarification part. And I was sent down a rabbit hole by a Spotify commenter named Thompson Studio, who directed me to a podcast called History's Great Mysteries, which stopped production years ago. It was like a pandemic podcast, and a good one too. The host Nick did an entire episode on the Fresno Nightcrawlers in 2020. Well worth a listen. You can find it on Spotify. So to start, the video that we showed as the original Fresno Nightcrawler video wasn't it. This is the video that the man only known as Jose caught with his security camera, which he set up after hearing his dogs go crazy night after night in an attempt to catch a prowler. And this isn't even the security camera footage. It's a phone 2007 phone video of security camera footage. So thus its legendary potato quality. But as you can see, it happens at around 1 a.m. And as Nick from History's Great Mysteries pointed out, a television show called Fact or Faked Paranormal Files devoted an entire episode to trying and failing to debunk this first Nightcrawler video. And after that aired in 2010, the Nightcrawlers became quite popular. Now, the quality of that video is god-awful, but that's the OG video. Okay, after the TV show did an episode where they tried to debunk Jose's security cam footage, the Nightcrawlers suddenly really sort of took off. And it was then that the second video appeared, the one from Yosemite, with the larger one and the baby one. You guys remember that? And it's really lovely. It's quite clear and, it's gorgeous. Now, while not outright debunking this video, Nick cast aspersions on its authenticity. It was the first video to be captured by a newly installed camera. It had a vague provenance. And as a matter of fact, it turns out to be, I guess, an accidental hoax based on very recent information. On April 9th, a user named Matt Sconce made a post on Shorts. "It's time for the truth," he wrote. "I am the creator of the Yosemite sighting of the Fresno Nightcrawlers." And Sconce then demonstrated that he controlled the sock puppet account which originally posted the video. "Why did I do it?" he wrote. "I am a filmmaker. Back when I created the Nightcrawler video, I was part of a paranormal TV pilot that was positioning itself to be similar to Fact or Faked. My father and I were the part of the show where we proved the paranormal event could be recreated. This video was only intended to convince the host of the paranormal TV show that it was a real sighting, so we could reveal how he did it when he showed it to us, like a paranormal inception." But the show never went anywhere. I guess the pilot didn't get picked up. And when that happened, Matt says he forgot to take the video down. And by the time we realized, he wrote, it had a huge amount of views and had been reposted everywhere. People enjoyed it, so we just let it stay up. Also, maybe he didn't want to piss people off. And then Sconce got into the details, and I don't even know that I can do all of the details of how he and his dad created the Yosemite Nightcrawler videos. He says, "After viewing the original sighting in Fresno, we realized it might have been done using a zip line, but we had a different plan. We built two creatures. We used a long aluminum pole and TIG welded a T on the end, so that was the width of a large foam ball from the art store. We cut the ball in half, attached half of it on top of the T to give that rounded head look. We ran strings from each side of the T with fishing weights on the ends. We then covered the entire thing with a very thin white cloth, like a sheet but even thinner. We shaped it so it looked like legs and the walking pants vibe." And then Sconce then wrote at length about shooting several videos with his dad, a clean plate of just the background and the trees, then one video for each creature, and then using Adobe After Effects to remove the aluminum pole and his dad and unite the two creatures, and then add a time code and visual glitching. And just to drive a final nail into Wonder's coffin, podcaster Nick turned out to have professional experience in biomechanics, and he did a deep dive biomechanically into the Fresno Nightcrawler video, the OG one, and his insight was that the original Fresno Nightcrawlers video was also probably hoaxed. Both of those creatures hit their timestamp mark at the exact same time, and he goes, that would be impossible for organic creatures to do.
What does that mean? Hit their...
Yeah, what do you mean by a timestamp?
It took them exactly the same amount of time to move from the back of the frame to the front, even though they were supposedly two different creatures, which suggests that they were on it like a zip line that was being controlled,
Got it.
as opposed to organic things walking and having their own sort of rhythm and movement and timing.
So if there'd only been one, it would have been better.
We wouldn't have known. Yeah, we
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
have known. But yeah. Okay. So, we've said this a lot especially with cryptids, but with other things too, I guess. We're okay if some of these phenomena turn out to be art projects. And I've been thinking about what that means exactly. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. I'm okay with that, but why? And what does high strangeness and art have in common? And for me, it's no obvious motive. It's no like, I'm going to make money, although people accuse hoaxers of wanting to make money or whatever, or just being trolling. I don't think that's necessarily true. And I'll remind you of what Oscar Wilde once said, because he was always good for a pull quote, all art is useless. So the Nightcrawler videos give me a thrill, but functionally they're useless. And Oscar Wilde is also quoted as his last words are supposedly either this wallpaper goes or I do. And I don't care. I don't get the wallpaper one. I don't care if that's true or not. Right. Okay. All right. So
Incredible.
Moving on from the disappointment of the man-made Nightcrawlers, please enjoy this brand new video that I'm going to share with you of a possible thylacine sighting shot in the Yarra ranges of brand new.
Really?
Okay. This was shot in the Yarra ranges of Australia less than 2 weeks ago. And it's a remarkable document, I think. It's over 2 minutes long, for one thing. And it clearly shows a striped quadrupedal creature loping along at a distance. It's heavily zoomed in thermal video, so surprise, it's not particularly detailed. It's kind of fuzzy. But what's cool about this thing is that, to me, it doesn't really look like any other animal. It's got a really peculiar gait. It's got short rear hocks. And in one part of the video, they zoom in and show what appears to be a pouch full of joeys. The thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger or the Tasmanian wolf, was a carnivorous marsupial thought to have gone extinct in New Guinea and mainland Australia more than 3,000 years ago. Now, some small populations existed, but they ended up being wiped out, we think, through bounty hunting because farmers hated them. And the last thylacine died in captivity in 1936. We have films of it. Mal's mentioned it before on this show. And as far as we were concerned, that's almost 100 years ago, this creature went extinct. This new potential Tasmanian tiger clip was posted by an account called Ambiguous World. They claimed to have filmed it on Monday, October 6th, using Pulsar Merger LRF XT50 thermal binoculars from an estimated distance of 150 meters. And at least one thing is clear about this. There are no zip lines or aluminum poles involved, and nobody's dad.
It's very wide.
And by the way,
shot is very wide.
one of the things that I think is really interesting, the thing that this thylacine video and the Yosemite Nightcrawler video have in common is that they both appear to depict moms with kids. I think one of the things that was so sweet about the Yosemite Nightcrawler video is the little babby one that comes tromping up behind the taller one. And I think that put people at ease. And when you see that it looks as if this marsupial creature might have a pouch full of joeys, that's somehow endearing to me. What do you guys think?
I love it. But I also, full disclosure, watched this video earlier, and I think that my favorite part was actually the guy monologuing afterward about how the government didn't want you to know that the thylacine still exists. And
why wouldn't the government want you to?
I really loved this guy. I loved this guy. I would recommend watching the whole thing. And he left the retakes of his own script in the video. So like when some sound would like interrupt him, he would like stop and he'd like kind of smirk at it and then he'd go back and retake the line.
What you've seen and what you're about to witness is real. But the Australian government will pretend it isn't. The thylacine lives. That's humans for you. The thylacine lives, yet the powerful refuse to listen. I know the kookaburras are going. The thylacine lives, yet the powerful refuse to listen.
I really love the whole video. I watched it all the way through. I don't feel like I'm an expert to be able to say what the thing is that I'm seeing, but like I have no reason not to believe that it's the thylacine because I've never seen an animal like that before. And you know,
it's an animal, right?
Yeah,
we can agree that it's an animal.
Oh, 100% it's an animal. Yeah. There's like no question. Yeah,
that's a creature.
And I'm like, I've never seen a dog run that way before.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of like a hippo, like or something, like the way that it runs.
Yeah,
you're right that it is very peculiar. And I don't know. I keep thinking about some of like the more philosophical questions that you're asking about art and wonder and because the truth is, it's like, well, we're always watching a grainy video of something far away. Yeah, always.
But the clear ones are immediately dismissed. I will hasten to add.
Of course. Well,
that's clearly AI. That's faked.
But everything is. What will convince us at this point is one of my questions.
What will convince us?
And I'm not really sure that being convinced is the most important thing. I think
it
maybe
may not be the
openness
point anymore.
Is
yeah,
exactly right. It's like, there's no dad in this footage. It seems strange that there would be a dad in this footage.
A dad with a pole.
A dad with a pole. But if there were a dad with a pole, guess what? All of the animators and people in Hollywood do on all the Marvel movies. Guess how many hundreds of people know? Millions of people possibly know how to do that, you know? And so are we just going to be extremely skeptical of any video we see forever? Yeah, probably. And in the dawn of just more and more things like deepfakes. I love the way Jordan responds. It's like, I have no reason to believe that this isn't the thylacine. I'm awaiting future information.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I think,
he's not going to like bet on it. He's not going to bet $1 million that that's a thylacine and like,
if I had $1 million, I might bet it.
Oh, wow. Let's start a betting pool.
Fair.
That's how we make money in this
I've never had a lot of money, so I'd probably be really bad with money. I'd probably bet it all on whether or not this is thylacine.
I think about all kinds of stuff. I think about the spectrum, the cryptid spectrum, right? On one hand, you have the squonk, which is, you know, you know, the Jersey Devil or the lamented Nightcrawlers. They just don't seem like animals. I don't know what the heck they are. On the other hand, you have things that appear in the sort of the middle. You have things that appear to be organic entities, like Sasquatch. You know, you can talk about physical gait and size and muscle tone and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the living or the living fossil thing, the coelacanth, which I'm not sure it had cryptid status. We just had some fossils and we're like, and then boom, there it is. Okay, cute as the Dickens, sort of, not really. And it lives, right? Thylacines, we're like, they're extinct. The last one died, but did it? How do we know? We don't know. Is it possible that little populations still exist in pockets where people don't go? Absolutely. Did he catch one? Could be. Could be. You know. So that's what I was thinking about. It's like, is this a living fossil? Is it a persistent fossil? Is that what Macaulay Mbembe is? I don't know.
It's the relationship between all of these things is that they all invite a person to wonder and to awe. And
that's exactly
we don't, because if the thing is real footage of a real cryptid, of a real mysterious creature that we don't understand, or if it is an art project, you know, yes, they may be two different flavors of wonder, but like they're still both wonderful. And I think that if you can be the kind of person that loves both of those things for their own sake and is open to both of those things on their own terms, that's wonderful. I keep thinking about how awesome and strange and bizarre and absurd and wonderful human beings are, that we not only catalog the many millions of different creatures and cryptids and all kinds of flora and fauna of our world and beyond, but that we also have an endless, inexhaustible capacity to create more creatures and more ideas and more beings. So we just are, we cannot be restrained. I've been, my whole life, I've been a writer of fiction, sometimes more than others. And I constantly run into this weird paradox of like, why do we do this? Like, why do human beings write stories about nothing that is real. And not only why do we write them, why do we love them? We write them and we love them. We love writing them and we love reading them and we love sharing them. Stories that have literally nothing to do with the physical reality of our world. And yet, we cannot be helped. We cannot be restrained. And I think that there's a clue in there about what it means to be human and about what it means to have spirit. And so, can we be filled with wonder both directions? I hope so. I can be. And I also I don't have to rule out one to feel wonder about the other. I can look at this thing and be like, if this is an art project, amazing. If it is real, also amazing. And I'm totally open to both possibilities.
I'm in love with the Yosemite Nightcrawler video, even though now I know it was a composite and some involved fathers and aluminum poles. I think it's absolutely thrilling.
Awesome for a totally different set of reasons.
Have you guys ever heard of the vegetable lamb of Tartary? One of my favorite things in the world.
What the hell?
This is a recurring meme on our show. Is Tom says, "Have you ever heard of?" and then inserts the most bizarre string of words that I've never heard before.
This is going to be this is the best thing in the whole world.
Vegetable lamb.
The vegetable lamb of Tartary. Okay, this was a creature that people supposed existed. Charles Darwin's grandfather wrote a rhapsodic poem about the vegetable lamb. The only musical I was ever going to write was going to be all about the vegetable lamb of Tartary. And in it, and people to some extent believe this was real, that it was a plant, and that from a central stalk grew on top of the stalk a lamb, what looked exactly like a lamb, with its little cute face and mouth and all the lammy bits and the legs dangling down, except it was on a stalk. And the vegetable lamb supposedly would lean down and eat all of the grass around it until it didn't have any more food, and then it would die. And people would talk about how the existence of the vegetable lamb proved the ineffable genius of God, the creator. I am not kidding. I'll post some pictures.
Wow.
But anyway, I don't know why I thought of that. Jordan was like, why do we do this? And I'm like, the vegetable lamb.
It has me wondering what happens if a sheep has sex with a celery. Like, what is...
I think that's a great opportunity for our listeners to comment.
So I wanted to return to our anonymous YouTuber who claims to have a UFO in his possession. He goes by just James on YouTube. Here's the thing. This either continues to be one of the most significant pieces of news that we could possibly be talking about on this podcast, or is the most colossal waste of our time. And I find that really interesting. So I may want to touch back on this every once in a while. I don't know how long this is going to go on for.
Sure.
Right now he updates every day, and he recognizes that people in the comments get worried about him if he doesn't post by the end of the day. And it's usually a video of his knee while he's sitting in the car. And he sometimes makes a comment about the rash that he developed after he found this thing that he doesn't know if it's connected or not. But he's like, so the rash today, that's it. That's the same. But it was an interesting week. I feel like there's enough that we should talk about it. On October 13th, so he travels for work. I don't know what he does, and he tries not to get into any specifics. So he's often like staying in a hotel or something like that, and there was a helicopter that flew really low to the ground. And you can tell that he's just on edge and nervous. He's a very sedate personality. Like, he's extremely dry and doesn't seem to be a very emotional person, but you can tell that if he's like bringing up the fact that part of the update should be that a helicopter woke him up this morning and it scared him. He also got an email that said it was from a government agency asking if he'd seen any phenomena in the air on September 16th. The next day, he's like, that email turns out to be fake, so no problem. And then the next day, he's kind of nervous because he got a message in the mail at his house. And this is interesting to me because we've got the letter. He shows a screenshot of it the next day. And I think there could be three things going on here. The letter tells him that he shouldn't tell anybody about the letter. It says it's not from the U.S., it's from a different government. And he covered up like his name and the name of the foreign government. And he says, hopefully, if I do die, at least I'll be one of the people who tried to uncover the truth. That's kind of what happened in the video when he was talking about this letter. I'm going to read it. Does that sound good? It's not very long. To the custodian of the restricted artifact, the Directorate of Sovereign Affairs, blank, has confirmed your possession of an object of critical national interest, henceforth referred to as the artifact. The blank consulate has laid claim to the artifact in question. Its unauthorized retention constitutes a direct violation of international statutes governing relics of strategic significance. You are hereby directed to surrender the artifact to an appointed emissary. Failure to comply will invoke immediate and severe repercussion. The Directorate maintains comprehensive dossiers on your associates, residences, and activities. Non-compliance will result in the systematic dismantling of your personal and professional affiliations. Assets will be seized, reputations nullified, and those closest to you will face punitive measures. And then there's several one-line statements. You will receive further instructions on October 20th, 2025. Be advised. Do not share this letter with anyone. Do not hide or destroy the artifact. Do not fail to comply. And that's the letter.
I was going to make a joke as to whether or not that letter was actually like a bill from a collections agency, and it kind of is. From
it sounds like it.
The emissary. It's just like
what is any government but a collections agency?
Truly,
for real.
Truly, they're just trying to shake us down. Well, I'm interested because either somebody found him and is messing with him. Like somebody knows where he lives and is sending him a letter like this, which is scary. That would freak me out, even if I was doing an art project at my house, Or he wrote this and is messing with us. That's interesting too. It's like, oh, good on you, dude. You're introducing some new elements to this medium.
Well, you can't ride that rash thing forever. You gotta. The rash is it's temporary. It's going to go away with
so far.
Maybe some ointment.
Yes,
and then you need a letter from a foreign government.
Yes, exactly. He's increasing
a vaguely
the stakes.
threatening letter.
That is an interesting vector of escalation. I got this weird rash. I got this weird letter.
Here's what I love about it. It talks about it as if it's an historical artifact. It calls it an artifact. It doesn't call it technology. It calls it an artifact and something of, didn't it call it of historical importance or archival importance or something odd?
Yeah, referred to relics of strategic significance.
Relics of
That's
strategic significance.
Yes.
That's so interesting. That wording is very interesting because it implies, one, that it's sort of like possibly weapons grade, and two, that it's very old.
That's why I'm like, well done, whoever do. And I am presuming that this is somebody messing with somebody, but I don't know who.
Could be him messing with us or somebody messing with him.
If somebody's messing with him, I'm stressed for him. That's awful.
The government in
I would
question,
hate that.
The government in question doesn't have a recall button, right? It's not theirs. They can't go like fly away home and it goes home. That's the thing.
Yeah, apparently not.
Apparently
errant,
not.
and they want it and they feel entitled to it. They feel like possessive of it, but they can't control it.
In the interest of trying to call it early, I think the letter makes me come down farther on the side of this being kind of an elaborate creative project
me too.
Maybe effort at hoaxing, because the letter feels like it was written by somebody who is trying to establish a vibe. It doesn't feel legitimate to me. It doesn't sound legitimate to me. It sounds a little overwrought. Not a little, actually. It sounds quite overwrought.
It sounds like Chat GPT to me.
Actually. Yeah. It sounds like you got an AI to sort of help you generate something that sounded legitimate, but that would be my assumption, but at the same time still interested.
There's a time frame established. You will receive further instructions on when
October
October
20th,
20th,
which
which
was
was
October
yesterday.
yesterday.
20th, which was yesterday.
And
We're
he-
taping on Tuesday, the 21st.
Yes, he did not. The video on October 20th opened with the rash is going away, but there's still a little bit of a scar there. And he didn't have any mail at the house. Often he talks about what he's kind of talking with the other commenters. Somebody in the comments suggested that he make a replica of the object and he give that to the government, but he's like, I don't know how to do that. Somebody else wants to make it for me.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Because what
Anyway.
they got back from was not what they gave to.
Yeah, but presumably they weren't the ones
But
who
they weren't the ones who made
fabricated
the replica.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Like
it
the
was
people who
another.
found the
It
death
was
sphere.
there was other agencies or entities
Yeah.
because they lost control of the sphere. My interest is piqued because not for this necessarily, because I don't know sort of how long they can string this along. Something sort of got to give at some point with the foreign emissaries.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the like hot girlfriend secret agent subplot.
Are you talking about like a honeypot?
Yeah.
Like a honeypot?
Where somebody shows up and she's just irresistible and she's maybe like a little uncanny valley. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And she's just really way into him. And anyway, I think that's coming. Something like that's coming. Maybe we can see shots of her knee sitting next to his
Yeah.
knee.
Oh, wow. I can't
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
for
It's
two
so
knees.
romantic.
The video from this morning, which is the one that I just we just paused so I could watch really quick just to make sure that there weren't any pressing updates, was a video where he said that he got really sick last night. And he was like, I don't know why. It's probably those government space lasers on my immune system. And he was like, obviously, I'm kidding. I'm safe. Nothing happened on the 20th. And then you can tell that the commenters are getting so annoyed. He is like, here's something that isn't my knee. There's a cool car parked next to my car. That's it. I mean, honestly, I'm going to watch until the channel doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
I am curious because I won't lie. I hear you both. Mm-hmm. The second I read the letter, and also there's no letterhead. It doesn't look official in any way. It seems like a very strange and inefficient way to do your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As if you're a foreign
Yeah.
government and you know where someone lives.
Yeah.
I'm
Destroy
gonna
this
send them a
letter after
in the
reading.
mail. If somebody else did this to him, it's just a person who wants them to know he knows their address, like that somebody knows his.
Or
address,
you want
know?
the 4D chess interpretation? The 4D chess
okay.
interpretation is that this guy James, the thing he found is totally legit. There's somebody who's watching this YouTube channel and is aware of what he's doing, and they sent him the letter for two reasons: to screw with him and also to convince his audience that the thing is not legitimate.
Fully.
So that the letter was sent not for its purposes stated at all, not even close, but to just make him feel uncomfortable and make his audience abandon him.
Yeah.
Because the letter is sort of clearly bullcrap.
That's just what a hoaxer would say.
That's in the PSYOP playbook, like.
Right. That's the ground. That's the space in which we find ourselves is like almost 100 years of like mind games played by various governmental agencies.
All the way down.
All the way
Yeah.
down. And so so we do have to come into it like art project, real or art project?
I like art. I like stories. If this is art, I'm going to continue to view this art.
And I love the third flavor, and we've sort of talked around it without stating it outright, but the third flavor is the not knowing. Like not knowing if it's an art
100%.
project or a legitimate
100%.
thing.
Absolutely.
That is its own rarefied pleasure. You know?
This is what we've been
that's the
talking about
luxury
the whole
taste.
time, which is
Yeah.
we haven't
Yeah.
collapsed the waveform yet.
Yeah, which is
So
great.
it's still Schrodinger's cat.
yeah.
And because of that, we
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah, it's great.
I want an Andy Warhol 24-hour film of the thing. I want him to get like 16 millimeter black and white, set up a camera on a tripod, and just film the thing for 24 hours and upload that onto YouTube. So now we're getting into
yeah.
some real art.
oh,
you know?
yeah.
I mean,
And nothing
truly,
would
I
happen the
can-
whole time. It would
Nothing.
just be literally
No,
like a static
nothing.
shot of the thing.
Well,
Yeah.
who knows what would happen? I don't know. Do you know what would happen? I don't know. 24 hours.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what,
Yeah.
Tom? I'm going to make a comment. I'm going to
Please.
say,
Thank you.
Hey, can you
Absolutely.
do that? It's, drawing attention to the paradox, and that's what everything is. Like, as far as having to hold the tension, like you were saying about Schrodinger's cat, I feel like obviously that's where we're living. Even
But what's
just with
the
like,
payoff? The payoff is updates on his rash. Fantastic.
I'll take it.
Just
It's
wonderful.
working for me. Am I crazy? It's working for me because, again,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself someone who's being completely hoodwinked right now because I don't completely believe him. But there is a part of me that's like, I do believe that this is how someone might react in this situation. The way a novel has human honesty in it when it's good, even though it's not true, even though it's fiction, I am sensing human honesty here. A person who's like, this is the best thing I knew to do. And I continued to keep saying the same sort of things and I'm boring my audience. I'm annoyed by that and I still do this every day.
Yeah.
I sense honesty, but not necessarily about the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It could be just an
About the
amazing
human
character
condition.
study. He's just
Yeah.
created
Yeah.
a character. Oh, I know. I'm actually going to go start watching them now. I'm going to go
Yeah,
subscribe.
you should.
Yeah.
You should.
The early ones, Tom, are really interesting. It's when he has the thing out of the box. And now he's hidden it. I think he's buried it. He got a lead blanket for it this week so that it wouldn't be able to be detected from higher radar.
From space, Mallory.
From space, obviously, from the foreign government space lasers.
Well, he won't be able to hide it long because 3i Atlas is going to go reclaim its own.
Oh, thanks for
Go.
segueing for
Boom.
us,
Go.
Tom. All right, guys. We are actually long past due for a conversation about 3i Atlas.
Are we?
Partly, I think this is because I don't love jumping on a bandwagon as big as this one, and I think we all agree. Because it really does seem like everyone has offered a take on this thing, like literally everyone.
Yeah.
And what can I possibly say that hasn't already been said? But at a certain point, saying nothing at all feels negligent somehow. So here goes.
Okay.
3i Atlas is the third confirmed interstellar object, hence 3i, to visit our solar system. It's huge, several miles in diameter, and it's fast, hurtling past a bunch of our neighboring planets at 100,000 miles an hour. It's also weird in a variety of ways, but we'll get to that in a second. As I said, everyone has a take, and all the takes seem to fall into three broad categories. It's definitely not aliens. It might be aliens. And it's definitely aliens. In the first camp are all the people you'd expect, mainstream scientists and astronomers who see this thing as a natural comet, albeit fairly exotic, because it comes from interstellar space, with a bizarrely nickel-rich, iron-poor chemical signature, an output of CO2 8 times higher than local comets, and a very strange tail that's pointing toward the sun instead of away from it, which no one has been able to explain sufficiently yet, I don't believe. But since this is only one of three interstellar objects that we've observed in the modern era of astronomy so far, we really can't call any of this stuff anomalous. 3 is just too pitiful a sample size. Then there's the second camp with Avi Loeb as the standard bearer, who's got the odds at maybe 40% that this thing is some kind of alien craft.
And he's a Harvard professor.
Yeah. But this is also very on brand for him.
Right.
He's made a name for himself as a brilliant and highly credentialed astronomer who's willing to say, yeah, it might be aliens. In the case of 3i Atlas, he cites all the so-called anomalies, as well as its convenient trajectory at around 4 or 5 degrees off the solar system's elliptical plane, and the way that it will pass so closely to 3 different planets on its way through. The third camp is where people get a little unhinged. There are any number of stories proliferating about the return of ancient Martians, the terraforming of a formerly natural cosmic object, or that it's a mothership bearing an entire alien civilization. Some of my favorite, unfalsifiable theories are all about energy frequencies and DNA upgrades being broadcast to and amplified through the sun, which, full disclosure, I went on an hour-long walk in my neighborhood last Thursday because supposedly those frequencies were at their peak intensity on that day. I mean, why not?
Just to take a frequency bath.
Yeah, might as well. And then, like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, there's Bertie Jaworski, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, who is a renowned remote viewer, and she did a remote viewing session where she saw what she believed was sort of this tiny, like, thumb drive type object embedded in this ancient comet.
And
loaded
graffiti.
Up, loaded up with like a lonely AI intelligence, or AI, sorry for the redundancy. After all the reading and watching and listening and obsessively checking updates every day, I think it's safe to say we don't know enough to conclude anything. I hope we find out a lot more. I hope the story keeps getting stranger, and I surely hope that there ends up being strong evidence that this thing is at least partly non-natural. But right now, the most interesting thing about this interstellar space rock is the way it has become a tabula rasa for everyone's pet cosmology.
Yeah.
Everyone's projecting their priors onto this big, mysterious object. The mainstreamers are playing their greatest hits about how it's never aliens. The believers are connecting the dots that may or may not exist. And the conspiracy theorists are asking why NASA isn't giving us hourly updates. What are they hiding?
Yeah.
Listen, I would be thrilled if it turned out to be something that someone was hiding, and it would be foolish to rule that out. But it's a lot more likely that space agencies move at the speed of bureaucracy in the best of times, and with recent government shutdowns over budget disputes, these aren't the best of times. And it's likely that what we'll get isn't evidence of alien involvement so much as a clearer picture of 3I Atlas's dimensions and composition. But even if it turns out that this thing is totally natural, it's still blowing our minds about how stuff works in our galactic neighborhood. This thing is billions of years old, potentially twice as old as our own solar system, and it proves that interstellar objects can be way bigger and chemically weirder than we could have guessed. It might have formed in conditions so alien to our experience that our models just break. Couple all this with how the James Webb Space Telescope is sending us back images that are ruthlessly dismantling a lot of our theories about how the universe got started, and we might be wise to remember that science, done right, absent dogma and ego, is really good at absolutely wrecking our priors. And that's my take on 3I Atlas right now.
Ooh. I enjoyed that, Jordan. Thank you.
Too. My take is that it's already wonderful.
It's already wonderful.
It's
Exactly.
already wonderful. What does the
Yeah.
interstellar mean? Outside of our solar system? Is that what
Yeah.
that means? Okay, that's
Inter-
wonderful.
Interstellar, in between stars. So like
Okay.
interstate, in between states.
Okay.
Interstellar.
So,
In between.
an object
Okay.
the size of Manhattan Island is traveling at 100,000 miles past,
An hour
past our living room window, functionally.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Doing flybys by like
Right.
Mars and Jupiter, where we have probes that can take pictures of this thing
Yeah.
at like visibility
Yeah.
distance.
Well,
which is
people
so
are
cool.
complaining because they're like, well, it's really designed to take pictures of the sun. That's why you have a blurry, fuzzy picture. But I would expect
Yeah.
nothing less from 3I Atlas than a blurry, fuzzy picture.
Yeah.
Avi
The
Loeb
Bigfoot
is
of our solar system.
he's very, very intelligent and capable, obviously, and credentialed. But he also is the boy who cried wolf because he did this with Oumuamua, was also a wonderful thing, and was talking about sort of building assumption upon assumption.
Well, let's to Avi Loeb's credit, he's never like, this is what it is.
That's
He's
true.
just saying that there's a possibility. Given the data that we have, you can't rule out
Literally,
X, Y, or
just
Z.
admit.
That's
just
all
saying,
he says.
Yeah, it's like, well, I can't
says it's
rule out
possible.
aliens, right? Because you can't rule it out because
Yeah.
you don't have the data to rule it out.
Exactly.
Right.
That's honestly,
Exactly.
I completely understand
Which
that.
is
But he's also
appropriate.
like, pumping the story and what kind of crazy stuff. And then the nutty people are just going to be nutty. But the fact that we live at a time that this is happening and we know about it and can put eyes on it, unbelievable, like extraordinary.
Yeah.
Very
it's
fun
very, very
time
cool.
to be alive. Jordan,
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry if I missed this while you were talking. Do we have a timeline? Like, what's the timeline with when we might be able to expect more information? With
There's
this?
a bunch of benchmark dates. And so as far as when to expect more information, one of the reasons that there are a lot of people are howling about information being withheld is that some of the dates we were given were in October, that some of these flybys would happen or some of the probes would be able to like get some good pictures or whatever, and that there just hasn't been a lot of new information, and that's frustrating. Well, understandably frustrating a lot of people. It's like, where are the pictures? Where's the data that we were promised? I think that it's probably forthcoming. I think that a lot of this stuff probably takes a long time to process. Listen, I'm going to say it. It's possible that there's some hiding going on. Absolutely, it's possible. It's possible that they saw some things. They're like, well, we don't know how to explain that, so we're not going to share it yet. That's totally possible. But I'm not going to count on that. I think, it's much more likely that stuff just moves slow and people are thirsty for more knowledge. Like we are, as a rule, human beings are impatient for information.
Yeah.
And so no
Yes.
matter how much information you give us, we want more. We want more. We want more. unless we got like so much data that we could like do a flawlessly, losslessly accurate 3D rendering of this thing of its entire scope and be able to like move in and out of it and break it down by like composition to the atom, we would not be satisfied. As far as dates go, it's going to apparently be, I think, the closest it will ever be to Earth, I want to say, in December, I think.
Okay.
So they have mapped it out, basically. And they're also waiting to see, like, does it change its velocity in a way that like, that we can't necessarily explain with, like, natural sort of physics, which is also a much harder question to answer than you might realize, because it's not just about, like, anomalous velocity changes. It's about the thing's composition itself will determine that. Like, if it's outgassing more than you'd expect in one direction or another, then its velocity will change.
As it gets closer to the sun, yeah.
Exactly. Or even as it gets affected by the gravitational pulls of other bodies. So, like, there's a lot. I mean, it turns out that orbital mechanics is really, 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 really complicated.
But if it stops,
comets are hard to track.
If it comes right up to us and stops, then we might have something. We got something to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it basically, I mean, I know space isn't the same, but it has been traveling using ballistic motion, right? It hasn't changed course. It hasn't pulled a right angle. Maybe it's
it hasn't done any like super weird
people
movement,
are like,
no.
well, that's crazy that it's going so close to this, that, and the other, but that still could be a happy accident
Comet.
of its trajectory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Jordan, I love that you bring up patience, because I think, I mean, just with what we've been talking about in this episode, as far as humans as storytellers and that being its own beautiful, wondrous thing, I think that patience actually might be our biggest problem a lot of the time with this stuff. That it's like, what's the story? How does it end? You know, like, I know that's my problem with my actual life. Like, every time an opportunity comes my way that could lead to a romantic possibility or career possibility, a thing that could open up a new channel or chapter of my life, I'm like, oh, this is what it is. This is what it is. And it's like, no, actually, can you just be patient? It reminds me of that, there's a Lao Tzu quote that I love, love, love. He says, do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the answer is no, Lao Tzu. Sorry, the answer is no. But that's
we're not patient enough.
Such great advice. If you're new here, be sure to check out our Substack, where you can find a lot more cool stuff and share your own stories with us. Just head over to godsghostsufos.com or find the link in the description. Also, a quick reminder that no matter where you're listening, reviews really, really help other people find the show. So, you know, hint, hint, please leave us one. All right, thanks again. See ya.